Oh! Hello, I'm APX Toycat, and there are some goals in Minecraft you achieve solely because they're useful, like having a village type with every type of villager, and some goals you achieve solely because they're fun, and today's minigame is going to be a great example of that, because I need some more fun ways for me to unwind in this world, but more importantly, when people check out the world, Toycat's Let's Play World in the Marketplace, they should have some fun activities to do as well, in my opinion, and so I'm going to be working on a fun minigame that I don't know I've seen before, because almost every Minecraft world has some minigame related to boat racing or related to hit the target. It'll always be shoot an arrow and see if you can hit it, but seeing if you can hit a target with an arrow is not quite as fun as something a bit more consequential, which is why I'm going to the end and I'm bringing some wool, carpet, and obsidian with me. I dug out all the land above my exposed end portal, by the way, so it sometimes gets glitchy, but that's something I think they're fixing tomorrow. Anyway, the important thing to note is that here is my end, and it's the perfect place for a minigame. If you're building for something from scratch, the most underrated place to do it is the end, because there's nothing else around here, almost literally by design. It means you have a blank canvas on which to build on, which is why I've covered this entire thing in glass, and also why I built myself an Enderman farm. Look, I've even got a big glass Enderman. That's definitely the proportion and the heights that they use. But anyway, my Enderman farm used to work. I believe it might still do, just not on a realm. But my Enderman farm is right over here, and it's a great source of ender pearls. But for all these years, I've had ender pearls with no real use for them. I mean, you can use like 12 at a time to find a new stronghold, but after that, what is the purpose of having this many? The answer is there is no purpose, except maybe there could be one, right? Maybe instead of this just being a way to enchant stuff, and let's be honest, who enchants stuff anymore? You just trade with the librarian villager, and Mochan can't do anything about that, it seems. But given that no one actually enchants anymore, and so all of this is pointless, why don't I use this instead to make myself a bit of a fun game? Maybe instead of doing a target practice, but with bows or arrows and tridents, why don't we do it with our player character? And so that is precisely my plan for this area of my Let's Play today, except building in the void can be kind of scary, so here's a fun tip you might not have known about building. This is some scaffolding, which obviously allows you to bridge out over the edge of something, but most people know it eventually runs out and you start placing scaffolding straight into the void. This isn't very handy, but if you were to use solid blocks, those solid blocks would be left over later, and so the solution is to use a gravity affected one. This means that you can place on top of that a scaffolding, you could also place one there, and then you can bridge 6 blocks out from this block. Even though it's not really that solid, Minecraft sees it as a solid block, and so we can place 6 more blocks out, then place another sand, and then do the exact same thing again as many times as we would like. I think our first round of golf should be our easiest, and so from our starting location, which we'll say will be one of these squares right here, I think our first hole should be nice and close by, which means we grab some obsidian and we make it right over here. And here's the fun bit about this first island, right? Once I start building this first island, which we'll just say goes right over here, if I want to get rid of this entire bridge there, which I probably shouldn't do yet, but I just want to show you it's really fun, what I can do is I can remove this first scaffold, and that will cause everything to block and drop, including the sand. That will cause the next set of scaffold to drop, including the sand, and then we're left with our obsidian in clean air without having to destroy a bunch of dirt later. It's a big improvement, although I can't really see it very well. Obsidian is deliberately hard to see against the sky, which might be a fun part of the game later, but yeah, now let's go on there and let's actually improve things by flying onto it using our firework. Or, you know, you could just, I don't know, live life on the edge and make a long jump. Or I guess if you really wanted to, you could go straight into the idea of using ender pearls to get around, but for now, I don't think that's so necessary. And now we're going to make ourselves a relatively small platform for the golf. I think we can get these much bigger later on, but this first one is just going to be a very simple proof of concept. It's going to be a big, you know, like flag, or like a fairly small flag on a little hole, and the goal is to land on the island, and this flag is going to be here to help you out. It's going to be 6 blocks, which I think is a reasonable number, and that is going to be our very simple flag design to tell you to come up here, which means that if I show you this now, if I was a elytraless player, here's how things would work. Oh, indeed, even with an elytra about fireworks, you have to throw your ender pearl from here and try and hit the flag. If you land on the island, you've succeeded. If you don't land on the island, then you've done the opposite. And just like that, oh, that was actually scary, never mind. Okay, so the fun thing is your ender pearl won't throw you in the void, as best I know. And so you instead have to make sure you hit it, and you'll have like a certain number of... So that's my first throw. I missed it, which means my second throw is the one that counts. I'm going to go for lower on the flag, and just like that, I land on the island, and oh god, there's an endermite. Oh no. Oh, okay. You really want to watch out when you've got islands this small. So the idea here is fairly simple. This is almost like a tutorial land. But now, using these ender pearls, you can do some really interesting throws. Because I actually did the testing for this beforehand. You can, depending on how you throw an ender pearl, you can go anywhere from about 10 blocks to a optimal throwing being somewhere about 115. Why did I do this much testing? Because ender pearl golf is really important, damn it. And so now we're going to have a really long stretch between this and the next one. It's going to be a relatively straightforward throw. I want it to be a straight line again, but it's going to be really, really far apart, which means a lot of scaffolding. And so now I have myself a ridiculously long bridge between that first hole and the second one. It's actually only about 50 blocks, but I mean, it's a lot of scaffold, and it also does have a little bit of height elevation in there, which means people are gonna have to know how to throw it, not just to land, but also to get the pole over here. And here's the fun thing. If I wanna go down from here, a lot of people do think that you're kind of stranded in the end. I don't have a water bucket, so actually I am. But what you can easily do is just place some blocks going downwards from here. Like we could make, for example, this the top of our flagpole, and then place blocks underneath it. I always travel around with a lot of things that people would probably question, like my enchanted flint and steel, or my channeling trident, my shears, and my brush, but in this case, I've forgotten my bucket, which means that I'm actually going to need that, and I'm going to go all the way back to the overworld for it, and some more scaffold, because I'm going to be using a lot of it today. And the worst, the one downside of this strategy is we don't really get to reuse it when it falls in the void. I mean, maybe if you started flying at the exact moment that you broke it, you might try and reclaim some. Actually, that's a fun idea. We'll have to do that. But let's go back to the overworld and let's see how much scaffolding and water we can bring back. See, the fun thing is this is actually one of the best cases for the, bamboo farm. It used to just, a lot of people see it as just a wood farm now, but ultimately it's a great way to get yourself some bamboo and turn that bamboo straight into some scaffolding, which can be used to throw right across the end. Although most of it will probably end up right in the void. The dragon will appreciate it one day. I'm sure she's down there. But yeah, we're gonna make sure we get the most of it, and that's what we do today. I was surprised to learn I didn't have a water bucket anywhere in my base, and so I had to make do of the Wandering Trader and his water bucket that just happened to come with pufferfish, so sorry pufferfish, but Anyway, now we have a bucket of water, which we can now handily use, ideally not inside of the... That's interesting, it's going inside of the scaffolding now, when it didn't when it had the bucket of pupfish in there. But yeah, that's an interesting little change there. But yeah, the interesting thing we have to do here is we have to place blocks downwards using this as my strategy. Although, I think I'll place just a few more scaffolding down now first. Oh, okay. Be very careful when placing scaffolding. Don't try and rush it, or bad things might just happen. Ooh. Anyway, now what we can do is we can place some water down below this, and by grabbing any solid block that we can actually use, I think we'll just use wood because it's simple. We can now place that wood down below the scaffolding, which means that just like so, we can place all the way down to the ground, or at least down to where we want the ground to be, and that should be the easy way to make this second flag work. It's going to be about 60 blocks of travel, so it's actually quite a decent amount, and then it's going to be a little bit uphill, so people are going to really need to know how to throw their ender pearl for this. And now we can simply remove the scaffolding from up here, because otherwise it'll keep things up. We can remove the water from around this, or maybe we could deliberately put it there, depending what we want, and we can break the wood until we get to the desired height of our pole. And our pole is always going to face to the left, I guess, to make it clear which way people should go. And so as soon as we get close to the bottom, we place some of that. 1, 2, 3, and then, I guess 1, 2, 3, oopsie. Oh, always got to remember there's a second layer to that. And boom, now we can place our obsidian around that by simply grabbing it out and build out our obsidian island, which I think will make a perfect square for this one, just to show how they can be different shapes. Or we could build it into a triangle or something. Actually, yeah, let's go for a triangle. Just something that gets a little bit wider as you get further away from it. Just on the off chance that people go a little bit wide, which give them a tiny bit of runway for this first hole so they don't immediately die. I think letting people understand the concept in an easy way and then challenging people is way more fun than being like, make sure you get this hole or you'll die. And so that's a good balance for that, in my opinion. And now we just have to remove the big scaffolding in between that makes it clear how we built this in the middle of nowhere. More importantly, I have to see how many of these scaffolding can be saved. Okay, I'm flying through it. Oh, actually a surprising amount, right? As long as you keep up with the flow of the destruction, you can just about get like, 20% of that back. And now the only thing left to do is make sure this is in fact doable. This should be a really easy hole. It should be hit the flag and you can make it down. But we're just going to confirm that that is easy for just a standard player. Like we do a run, we do a jump, and oh god, okay, it's going nowhere. That's fine. As long as it doesn't hit something in the background, you should be just fine. So way higher than I'd expect. I figured it'd be a little bit on the low end, but that should be a good throw then, right? Right on the money. Oh, and there you can see, that's why you need that safety layer in front. Clearly, if you hit the flag post and you fall off, there's not enough obsidian, which is why we just do an extra layer here, I think. I think testing stuff as you're building it, if it's designed to be played by people, is important, because you might understand something perfectly while you're making it, but everyone else looking at it might just be very confused. So we make it a little bit wider, make sure there's no way you could really miss that, but then also we could say, well, now, if it's clear that hitting the flag is going to be easy for anyone who knows how ender pearls work, why don't we add a little bit of extra fun to this? In the same way that there's a par, you could add something like a little bit of a red zone, somewhere you specifically want to land. And my first instinct was to coat the flag with it, although actually that might be a fun idea too, just for visual reasons. Add some extra like interest to the flag. But I also think you could do like, what if there's a little extra point zone somewhere on this? So when you look at a flag, you can see the clear place you're meant to go, but then also you could have like a little bit of a bonus point area, and if you land on that, it's even better. So we could just have like a little red zone in the corner here, and if you landed on that, you could get an extra point. Because obviously you could, making it so that the proximity is the number of points you get is the obvious system, but darts gives you more points for getting a really precise narrow band. I think it's triple 20, more so than the bullseye, and so we could do the same over here. Maybe not on this course, but I like the idea of taking somewhere else a little bit of a bonus secondary objective if you want extra points. So yeah, for now I think we'll mark just the flags with the red zone, but we'll make sure the extra red points go somewhere else soon. I think for now even, we could do a really simple example of that right over here. We can make a really easy next hole so that people who don't want to challenge themselves can just be like, yeah, I'll just, if you're feeling like it's too hard already, it should be like an easier way to build some confidence, while also allowing people who want to go for something hard to have it. And so let's go for a nice, really simply, okay, you gotta be very ready to not die, even while building something out here. Gotta admit, you probably shouldn't bring most of your valuables and multiple shulker boxes out to the end. Something we'll totally keep note of. But yeah, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna place out our scaffolding right over here. And then from here, we're going to have a very simple choice for people to make. Although, obviously, when I say here, I mean a bunch of blocks down from here, because scaffolding only really works in the upwards direction, and we want to build down today. Really, really far down, I think, actually. All the way down to, like, layer 50, I think should be good. Oh, no. Make sure I replace that in time. But yeah, the idea for this side is actually quite simple. We're going to have a hole with a, because the islands can be different every time. They're not going to be perfectly uniform, because that'd be a little boring. The only thing that's uniform is the flag, so you're never lost as to where to go. And so this, particular thing, we could do something a bit more fun and have, by using torches, we can layer it out. We could have it be a bit more of a challenge area by deliberately building, the goal there was to build out from this, by deliberately making it a hole that is hard to get in except from above. And then kind of going for like a inverted pyramid shape. It's not something you get to build very often in Minecraft, and it can be kind of tricky. Okay, can we build on the side of this block? We should be able to. We just got to highlight exactly that, and boom, no longer are we wasting obsidian, because this is valuable. You have to mine this all the way from the end. But yeah, we can make kind of like an inverted pyramid, which is fun enough by itself, but what if we made it a bit of an extra twist? Oh, one of the Endermen picked up the sand and they dropped scaffolding everywhere. Come on, guys. You shouldn't even be spawning here. I literally enderproofed my entire area specifically so you wouldn't, and now you're destroying my scaffolding. That's a new thing to watch out for, by the way. But yeah, what if we added a twist to our inverted pyramid, or kind of like a bowl shape, and we deliberately make a hole over here, and then we could set our bonus points area, like the place where you get like a, an extra point, to be over here. This means that people can go for the nice easy target off the, you can see the very clear flag, or they can deliberately aim out over here, but if they miss this, or they hit the side of this, they'll fall right out into the void, and probably die. I mean, you know, I'm not going to guarantee they'll die from down there, but probably, right? That would be quite the fun initiative. And it gives you this real conflict of aiming for anywhere in this safe zone that you can very easily see, or aiming for the one point in the safe zone where it's not really incredibly clear. I guess that part there is maybe a little bit too easy. Oh god, he came up here. Okay, you know, do it while an enemy's attacking you. Can we do it? We landed on the red zone. So I think this wall makes it a little bit too safe to go over here, which is the same thing that we can improve from last time by deliberately moving both of these maybe, and then placing our red carpet around to the side just like this. Now every single block has a real risk that comes with not hitting it. Okay, so there goes the Enderman, I hope. I've also torched up the end island up there, and hopefully that should mean this is the last one I have to deal with. Hopefully, but not guaranteed. And so now we have a freehold golf course, but obviously I think you need, what is it, 9, 18, 12 holes for a mini golf course, and so we must expand and go even further. I think we'll head out over here for the next one and try something with a different obstacle. I really do have to say, by the way, as I do this is one of my favorite things to do. I've always enjoyed, since I was young, I always wanted to like be a game designer. I love designing things for people to play, even if it's like paper games. Like I always like to design like you know, little things for people to play, because it's just so fun to invent something that people enjoy. I get a decent, you know, like percent of that from making YouTube videos. Like I really like when I have a video that really helps people in a way that I just, you know, wasn't expecting, or you know, like something like that. It's nice to know that you've provided something to people. Like help with a game is always nice, but what's also really nice is when you provide literal help in the form. Also, I have to be really careful. This whole box could be destroyed if an Enderman spawns in the wrong place right now. So let's be very careful about that. But yeah, I really enjoy like helping someone out in a weird way that I wouldn't have expected. But one of those feelings that I just, you know, maybe because games connect with me on a deeper level, it feels like it's just the most satisfying thing to do. And the idea, if I just make the right challenge here, I can, you know, give someone a really fun thing. It's just really something that pushes me a little bit. But yeah, the idea here on this next thing is to have a big obsidian wall, I think. I don't know where exactly we'll have it, like over here, I guess. Big obsidian wall that will line up with that flag, so like 5 blocks wide and, I don't know, 5 blocks deep, something really simple, and it's going to tell the player to shoot over it. So I'm now going to build a big obsidian plank, but it's going to have some orange in there deliberately to leave space for, oh god, we've messed this up already. You know, I had one job and I think I've messed this up, but I want to have like a nice orange arrow, just a really clear hint that you should be going this way, but the player's not really going to know what to expect until they do it. So yeah, we're going to throw some orange over here, and then some orange down over there, and then we just finish off the blocks, hopefully not drowning in the end in the meantime. You've got to admit, drowning in the end is probably a type of death that is, it must be one of the least frequent types of deaths. Like, how often do you really come into a drowning situation out here? I would hope not very frequently, but maybe I would hope incorrectly. But yeah, we have a nice simple wall here that should block the player's view of what's coming ahead. And so now what we do is we just place a bunch of blocks over here, maybe just a single obsidian block or something. Actually, no, we'll use a wool block over here. And now we place a really long scaffolding line because we don't know where about on it we're going to build. So we just go as far as we can. Okay, that's not as far as I can. We just go as far as we can in a straight-ish line. It's kind of straight and arcing upwards because of the scaffolding thing. But we're going to see exactly where it is that an ender pearl lands if you are to throw it directly above that. So this is about as good as we've got for now. I should have gone a little bit lower maybe. But let's destroy this big batch. And let's see what it looks like when you throw an ender pearl directly over the top of that. So this is a little terrifying, actually, not knowing quite where exactly over looks like. So that should be... Oh, no, I hit the top there. I hit the top. Okay, a little bit higher than that next time. Clearly is the lesson. Okay, let's break the scaffolding. I'm sure that is what's causing me problems right now. Let's pick it all up. I picked up precisely none of it. But let's try and see exactly where an ender pearl lands if we shoot it just over that. And oh no! Okay, so I've got to go a little bit higher than I assume is what I've learned from that. As you can see right there, it goes way over any of that. So yeah, we'd have to have a higher up platform or a further out platform, because even barely skirting this will get you further along than that. So now we need to work out exactly what that means or looks like. I'm guessing higher up is going to make more sense. Also, I just fell through the scaffolding. Not what I was going for. But yeah, I think that one of my favorite things is always this kind of like create some grow people. I think everyone has this inside of them somewhere. Like even I think it can be really easy to convince yourself that like you're a selfish person because there are lots of people who will try to convince you you're selfish if you don't help them. But everyone has something they want to do that is like really good for other people that even relies on the reactions of people. But it's hard to know exactly what that is or you know if it even is good solely because. Of just, I don't know, the world can be a tricky place sometimes, and one of those tricky things is just working out what it is that you do as part of it. So, with that said, let's throw an ender pearl. You know, my biggest providing thing for the world is definitely not my mini games that I make, because look at this, I throw it, and ooh, okay, I'm just over. That's 100% going through the scaffolding now. So I just have to work out where it's going through the scaffolding by flying after it. Where have you gone? Okay, so it's gone actually quite low down. Probably not in the new part of the scaffolding. In this old part is just good. So now we just have to land on the scaffold and build ourselves a big island over here. So kind of leaning into the theme that every island is a different shape, we'll just make this one a really long straight line, which will be fun. And I guess we could make it like 5 wide, but only 5 wide in a few places, because you really shouldn't be going so sideways. And then we break this single orange wall, maybe coming after some of the scaffolds. Come on, I can get it this time. I'm sure I can. No, I can't. But after filling this island in, I think we'll go for a different shape than you might be expecting by building the rest of it over here. It almost looks like an arrow in itself. Then this can be the landing area, although it doesn't have the flag, so clearly we need to fix that. I think for fun, we can play around with the format of the flag by deliberately placing it over here and being very tiny as a version of itself. It's a very miniature flag, which means the next logical thing to do is to have, because we've gone for a make sure you barely clear this. If you clear this by too much, you'll go flying over the edge and your ender pearl will be wasted. You'll waste a shot. If you clear this by a little bit, you should hopefully hit the landing area right over here. If you, and then once you do, the next task should not be about, you know, one that like is safe and not safe. It should have some very clear not safe options. And so you better believe it's scaffolding time again. No! I did all of that, and I didn't realize I was breaking the last wood block, which means it's just time to do it again. Okay, I messed that up. There is a lot of very near death situations that will happen while doing this. Not for the faint-hearted. But again, I have pretty good confidence in myself. Maybe too much confidence in myself. So let's try that again, shall we? So my idea here is a fairly simple one. I've told people to go up now. What if I told people to go through? And I could make just a giant square with a hole in it and be like, go through this hole. But that's no fun, right? What if the square hole had a little bit of a challenge to it? Because maybe it was a diagonal square hole. That's right, people are gonna have to aim their shot at just the right angle, and if they aim it a little bit too wrong, they'll hit the sides and fall in the void. That, to me, sounds like fun. I mean, it doesn't sound fun to fall in the void. I can attest from my recent couple of near deaths, but I can tell you that I think it's a fun little challenge. It is one that is going to require some torches, so I keep my torches in the same chest I keep my scaffolding in, and I do have to say, it is nerve-wracking to whack this thing out every time and be like, you know, am I going to lose this to the void by messing it up? But you shouldn't if you just get it right. And so, yeah, now we're going to stack ourselves up. And we're going to make this, say, like, I don't know, 7 blocks by 7 blocks. Should I have counted 7 blocks if that was my plan? Yes, I should have. Did I count 7 blocks? You better believe I didn't. But, yeah, now we can just kind of look at things and make a big, easy hole to look at. And by making it out of obsidian, it's very clear that it's a part of the course. But also, by using torches, we're saving obsidian and also making it very, very, very easy for no enderman to spawn on here, which is quite crucial, I'm starting to learn. And just like that, I think we've succeeded in making a square. I originally wanted it to be like, go through the square to get where you're going, but I don't actually think that does enough, because how can you guarantee someone has to go through a square to be somewhere unless the only possible winning location is inside of it? And so my fun idea here, maybe not so fun depending on how it works, is to have the winning island be directly through here. And to make it a little bit more challenging than previous ones, we'll deliberately make it so only every other block is solid by using these torches torches on the floor like this, we're saving an obsidian costs and also making a deliberately extra frustrating course. Is this a good idea? You know, sometimes that's something you have to find out by doing, isn't it? I think that is one of the real sparks of creativity, is like, if you know what the answer to something's already going to be, it's not as interesting as when you don't. That's a fairly obvious thing to say, but I think a lot of people do find a lot more intrigue in this sense of the unknown, which is why, like, I don't know, like, I think this is why people enjoy, like, super scripted stuff. Reality is mostly predictable. We are very good at building ourselves a reality that can be as predictable as humanly possible, because people would like to live in a world where, you know, like, you don't have to worry, like, oh, yeah, am I gonna starve to death tomorrow? Let's hope I don't. But it'll be an adventure to find out. But I think that's also why, you know, like, a lot of people, you can live your life in a way that is very interesting, but also I think it seems to take, like, a toll on people. Do you remember there was a big trend on YouTube a while back, towards, like, daily vlogging, doing, like, the most interesting thing you could, but then after a while it becomes like, well, today I was at home editing videos because people need to see those. That's what reality looks like, but it's also less boring, less interesting than saying, yeah, today I went down a mountain, it was real crazy, and then I did this, then I did that. I do this all by myself. Instead, it's better to have, like, a very well rigidly planned out, and, you know, even like, oh yeah, I'm going down a mountain on a, like, I don't know, on a mountain bike is way less interesting than being able to say, by the way, let's look at this from afar, just to see what it actually looks like. Oh, that's weird. It looks like a optical illusion almost. I like it. It might be confusing players on this side that they should be going through there, so maybe we should extend the wall a little bit on both sides. I think that's a good idea. If we just make this wall here, like, 5 blocks bigger on each side, it wastes a lot of obsidian, which is quite valuable, but it makes my intentions clearer. But yeah, I think, you know, making your intentions clear is actually a bad thing. I think people would rather be like, oh my god, I almost died in this big mountain biking accident, and then, like, have some, like, choreographed moment where it looks like you're going to die, than actually seeing it. I think, I'm sure the same is true here. If I was pretending like, oh my god, I was sure I was going to die there, it's way better than me being like, yeah, I could have died, but, like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to, because, you know, pretty sure I'm not going to die isn't as exciting as, oh my god, I'm going to. And I guess this is Minecraft too. So, you know, I'll actually, I've hooked up a device to my real body that if I die in Minecraft, I die in real life. I've got to admit, you know, even though that's, like, the dumbest idea, every time I come of it, I think, man, that would be so cool, right? You would play Minecraft so really if it was like, yeah, if you die in hardcore Minecraft, you're dying quite seriously in real life, or even just, like, get seriously injured. I'm having a life-changing injury if I get injured in Minecraft. Just, you know, it sounds very, very bad, and you would probably get demonetized. But I also think it's a real way to add stakes, right? Like, I love the idea of adding stakes to hardcore, but I've said this before a million times, like, every hardcore series on YouTube, with very few exceptions, has to be staked, because when these people are making thousands of dollars on, you know, like, their videos, how could you not have backups of that world, so that if, you know, it ends early when you're not expecting it, you don't lose tens of thousands of dollars. Adding, like, real stakes to stuff is really hard when you get, like, kind of finances in the way. And I think one of the simplest ways to fix that is by having it live. That's why I try to make all of my hardcore series live, because otherwise, what does it mean to be hardcore? It just means you haven't seen a death in this recording, but you know, how long is this recording? Who actually knows? Anyway, this is what my thing looks like now. It's a bit of an optical illusion, and it's a bit of a pain to land on, but that should add to the fun, I think. We just have to make sure that it is entirely possible. So let's do these last 2 holes in a row now, just to make sure. Oh no, okay, hit it again, don't hit it again. Oh no, I'm literally going to die right now. See, it's not true. I feel like I'm ready for the fact that I might fall, and so I'm deliberately getting my Elytra button ready, checking that Elytra status every now and then, because, you know, sometimes you unequip it. Maybe in the nether, things go terribly, who knows for sure. But yeah, let's try that again. Ooh, hitting the wall is quite a common you know, outcome here. So definitely, I'm going to aim it a little bit higher this time. Oh, I don't want to have to waste this many fireworks, but it is my life that's on the line here. So let's try that again now. I went way higher than I thought I should, and I did hit the little stump, which is great. And now this one here, I don't even know, like, you know, again, it looks like I should aim for the center of that window. Maybe I'll put, like, a little wall up just behind there, just to make it a bit easier. But the flag is over there, and so that's what I'll aim for. Oh, dear Lord. Again, and I hit the floor, funnily enough. So yeah, super frustrating. course. I think the only way to make that better is to deliberately have something that's hard but reliable. If it's a lot of randomness, people won't find that as fun as if there's some reliable spot that you can try and land in. And so let's have that right here, like a big solid wall just kind of going around the edge of this, like something that is solid like that, and then some blocks back here for people to land onto. So torch like that, because again, like I think as fun as like unknown and unexpected is also interesting, people would like it to be like based on skill. I think no one would find it interesting if you almost died by being like, I'm playing Russian roulette today, and if I get the wrong, bullet in the barrel, I guess I die. But let me know if you think differently about that, because, gotta revitalize that YouTube career somehow. Anyway, the important thing to say here is, we've now designed our 5th hole. And now, designing a 6th one, I think, should be all about that, like, optimal movement. So far, I've done a few holes that are just, like, throw the ender pearl. This one, I want to be exactly level, so we'll go from... Oh, I guess we need to make a clear landing area here, so we'll make a little thing back here to make a cleared spot to throw the next pearl from. I think that is one of the fun challenges here. It's like, these are all next to each other, so you have to make it very clear that this is the way you want to go. How do I make that clear? I guess I could put some red on it. We use red to mean bonus points, but also confusingly to mean where someone should go. So we'll place enough red carpet here that it should be very, very clear what you've got to do. And then from here, we'll have the next ender pearl jump be. So this next hole is going to be one of the longest throws that you're going to have to do. And just to kind of mix things up so it's not just long throw in one direction, I'm also going to have a big kind of roof here, a big thing that they have to make sure they don't accidentally hit. Because if you hit it, you'll fall in. So just a big long line of obsidian so that there is a very specific place they shouldn't be going for. Or maybe we could even go a little bit crazier and make it like a triangle. So there's like, you're rewarded for going around the triangle, and if you try to go dead on straight, then bad things will happen. I actually kind of like that idea. Yeah, let's let's make it a very punishing triangle, just as a fun little, at this point, like, you should hopefully be good at throwing, but that should be a great way to improve on that. So there we go. Let's make sure we place our torch on here. Obviously, without torches, this whole thing falls apart. Then let's break this, and I guess place a torch over there. And then let's, man, it's so heartbreaking losing all these scaffolding to the void. But just to show you how it's basically required, here is me with 44 scaffolding, doing my absolute best. I've tried so many times on this now, but my 44 scaffolding has become, you just can't pick up the blocks for some reason. It's very sad. So yeah, let's pick up these last scaffolding and let's build an island over here, which is going to be a real stretch to get to, especially with that in the way, right? It almost... Is that even correctly lined up? It looks like it should be next to impossible, but that's part of the fun. So yeah, we're going to build an island over here. We'll just place our blocks now to save some time once we're up there. And now let's break down from the top. If you're curious as to what I've been up to this week, by the way, while we go down with this, it's actually, I've been trying to, and actually for the first time successfully in like a summer, I've been trying to like do a lot of stuff because in general, I feel like the world works in 2 ways. People get really, really like, at least in where I live, people kind of get like socially reclusive during the winter. It's like much harder to organize things because the idea of going out is daunting. Whereas for some reason, I genuinely don't understand how people are like this, but a lot of people are like, yeah, well, when it's cold outside, I just don't want to do anything. I want to sit inside where it's warm and, like it's much harder to get stuff done, even though the exact opposite should be true. Like when it is cold, we need more social opportunities. When it's warm, like everyone's going outside for all sorts of things anyway. At least that's the way I see things. And so, yeah, I've been trying to like use that ebb and flow to be like, okay, well, if everyone is, if it's easier to find opportunities to do stuff during the summer, I'll have to work under that system. It's kind of annoying sometimes that like, even if you spend your life being free of the system, like, you can, I really don't like the whole Monday to Friday, you have to be here or bad things happen to you kind of system. It's kind of fun to me that I do something where that's not true. But even then, yeah, and like it's so much more expensive to book, say, flights on a, like a weekend because people want to fly places on the weekend when they're not working. Yeah, this is almost perfectly laid out so that I can't throw an ender pearl where I would expect to be able to. I have to go way over and maybe miss it, or way under and probably miss it. I'm gonna go way over and see what that does to me, by the way. I think that's actually probably about right. No, it's not. It's way wrong, in fact. Yeah, that's fun. I really like this I like this one. And yeah, that makes course number 6, which could be like a logical end for a mini golf course, but I do think that we should bring it closer back to home, and 7 feels like a better thing than 6. So I think for the last one, we're going to do a fun, like, we're going to use our water for something fun that can hopefully be kind of, you know, like, I don't know, a water-based challenge. Like, it's going to be a lot of water you have to throw your pole into, and then it will slowly drop through the water to where you actually want it. I don't know how precisely that's going to work right now, but it's the idea that I want. So I decided to do a little test in a copy of the Let's Play world about how water affected ender pearls, and I'm quite surprised to learn that it has basically no impact on how far an ender pearl goes, and you'll go basically the same place with or without the water, which means that it's not actually very good for making a fun ender pearl golf, which is sad. So my new idea here is going to be fairly simple. I just want to place I want to make it so that instead of doing a long throw, you instead have to work out an angle on the throw. I mean, doing a throw from there to there or here to here is all about knowing how to throw far, not hugely far, because we're obviously trying to make it fun still, and one that, like, even you know, anyone should be able to finish. It's just being able to finish in one should be the challenge. And so I think the more interesting way to do this, personally, would be to make it so we have a challenge that to throw upwards and into. So kind of like you want to make it so you can only land by throwing upwards. However, if we make a big wide square like this, that challenge goes away. However, what if instead of just having a big square like this with our standard flag in the middle, which we'll obviously place down right now, what if we did something a little different? I mean, how can you make it so the standard flag design, which we're using this entire time, how can we make it so it's very, very clear that this is only to be thrown into from above? Well, you can't try and just tell people, like, yeah, you should totally try and throw it in that way. I think, like almost all good things in game design, you should communicate in other ways, and so we're going to have a big box where the only way to get in is via these side walls. So it's going to be very clear that the only way, you know, how would you get into a box with a lid that's open on the top? Well, via the top, obviously. So that is what we're going to try and encourage people to do now. But yeah, I think one of the things a lot of people don't think about when they hear, like, oh yeah, there are fun things you can do where you don't have to worry about the 9 to 5. You know, those generic sales pitches that are like there to like kind of get people who are like ready to do stuff online. It's actually that, like, yeah, well, in life, you can either have someone who tells you what to do, and there's kind of like an ease of that, because even though you have to do it, at least when you've done it, there's a clear fail and win state. I think that a lot of things, like I think everything I've ever done has been kind of working for myself. Every one of the jobs that I've had to do working for myself doesn't have a very clear, like, you're doing great, you're doing poorly, or maybe at the very least you can tell, like, you're doing great. But with YouTube, for example, it is, sometimes it is genuinely a nightmare to work out, like, am I doing what is a good idea? Sometimes right after finishing something, it's like, oh yeah, doing that this way makes some sense. And sometimes it's like years later, I'm like, oh yeah, that would have been a way better idea to do what I was doing, but you just don't know until after it happens, right? And so, I don't know, even with this build, right, I wanted to make it out of water. I'm glad I tested it first, but what if we didn't? We'd have to scrap the whole thing, start again, or maybe we wouldn't even know until people played it, and then I made that big mistake. And so, yeah, I want to do something fun with this to make sure that no one gets confused about where the next challenge is. I figured we could either use glass on this wall, but using glass means people might make the mistake of thinking, oh, you throw it at the glass, so instead I'll use a block that everyone should be able to see through, but also should know that there is no way you're getting an ender pearl through, which is this right here. So this is going to be cherry leaves. I've actually, you know, are cherry leaves even transparent enough? Yeah, you can just about see through cherry leaves, so they should be able to see the orange flag, just not as clearly as they might hope. And so that is going to be entirely my plan. I am going to hope that it becomes very obvious where you should throw your ender pearl after looking at that. And then finally, because obviously once you throw and you get in here, you can say you've nailed the hardest hole in the course, but it's also important to be able to get out and get free. And so maybe you could ender pearl your way back there, or maybe I should leave my scaffolding. No, I don't want to leave the scaffolding. Scaffolding's ugly. You know, the scaffolding has to go. So instead what we'll do is we'll place some random, we'll make it like a parkour, I guess. Actually, that might be fun. We'll place like a random leaf block there, a random leaf block, I don't know, on the side of this somewhere. You can't crouch properly on these blocks. Okay, you gotta like jump crouch. Pro tip. Place a leaf block over there, and then one over here. And now, when we remove all of this, we have a way to get to and from it, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. And so yeah, isn't that fun? By the way, that might be a pro tip for designing parkour. When designing fun things in Minecraft that you want to look like are floating in midair, use scaffolding. Just have enough bamboo that you can afford to have it fall into the void forever, I guess. And also watch out for these water spills. You might assume that's like a bug or something, but it's actually just the water's not being simulated, so we have to spend some time where the water is and wait for it to slowly vanish, which I'm hoping it will choose to do. Oh no, please don't tell me it's sitting there forever. Okay, well now we have some floating water in our end, which is definitely not a problem that I care about. But what I can say is a problem I care about is the Marketplace map. Using it is really fun. It's something I do quite a bit. And if you're curious, there is going to be a 1.20 update coming out somewhat soon. It's in the next few months, I should say. Like, it's soon by Minecraft standards of how long their certification process takes. But yeah, after that comes out, there will be another update, which will come with this fun little free minigame. Just because I had a real intense desire to make this, and I'd love to see people playing it and just seeing how many ender pearls it takes them to get through. So yeah, I won't do the entire thing right now. I'll wait until it is available to download. But I've got this like little mini game itch right now. Like, I really wanted to make an ice boat course. I was thinking, that's something that's still in my mind, by the way. I just have a little desire for that, and if you have a desire for that, then let me know what fun things you built in your world. I'd love to hear about it down below. And yeah, for now, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a good Monday, everyone, because this week might be update week. It might be 1/2020, a small but significant Minecraft update coming out soon. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you then. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I hope that you know what you need to do to make your life better in the next week. And if you do at least one of those things, you'll have a great one, I hope. That's my goal at least, and yeah, we'll see if I can achieve it by next week. Oh, I have a wedding I've got to go to, so I'll see you next week for Let's Play Tuesday, maybe. Or if you see a Let's Play on Monday, it means we got it recorded, edited, uploaded, all within a few hours on Monday. So, just praise me for that. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna go put my ender pearls away and then say goodbye. Goodbye. Wait, I know I'm terrible at saying goodbye, but I had a really good idea this week, and I just want to give you a heads up in case you're curious about why I want so many diamonds. I feel like it would be so fun to build a copy of my Let's Play house, the most iconic and beautiful build anyone can make in their world. I think it'd be fun to try and build this, but out of diamond blocks. I've worked it out. You need 11 times 8 blocks for each of the faces, so you need just over 3,000 diamonds to build the entire thing. But wouldn't it be cool to have a solid diamond copy of my house? It would look like a dumb creative or hacked copy, but doing that in survival would bring me some joy. So if you see me mining some diamonds this week, you know the reason why. I have a silly thing on my mind, and sometimes that's what every thought is, a silly thing that is just on your mind. And yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye. I'm gonna say goodbye this time. It's for real, I'm pretty sure.